Hi, Sunday School here. Today we're talking about sparkling wines and how they're made. So the first sparkling wine production that anyone really knows about was in a place called Limoux, which is in southwest France. There it is. This is France. There it is, down there. And that was in 1531. That's the first records we have. And it was made in what is now known as the Ancestral Method. You're going to tell us about it, aren't you, Melanie?
Yes, the Ancestral Method is the oldest way of making sparkling wine. So what you want to do, this is a fermentation tank. First you want to start making regular wine. Martin, can you tell us how regular wine is made?
So with regular wine, you have the process of fermentation. Fermentation is basically yeast, which is this guy. He's eating the sugar in the grapes. And that's basically fermentation. There's two main outcomes of that. One of them is alcohol, and the other one is carbon dioxide, CO2, which is bubbles.
So when you're making regular wine, what happens is this whole process, fermentation, is happening inside this tank here, and the CO2 is disappearing into the air because you have this open tank. When you want to make sparkling wine using the Ancestral Method, what happens is you have that fermentation happening in this tank, right? The CO2 is disappearing into the air, and then before the wine is done fermenting, the yeast is still doing its thing. You want to take that wine and transfer it to a bottle and put a little cap on there. And then the yeast and the yeast is still eating the sugar, it's still fermenting right here, and it's still creating CO2, but this time the CO2 is not disappearing into the air like it did here. It's being trapped inside the bottle and inside the wine in the form of
Bubbles.
Bubbles. There you have it.
That's it. This is also known as pétillant naturels, which is kind of a bit of a hipster wine at the moment.
Or pet nat for short.
Yes, pet nat. You might see that in the shops.
Stick around for part 2, where we're going to tell you about double fermentation. This is also called single fermentation because it ferments once. Double fermentation is coming right up.